Hey, Sean. Just wanted to let you know, but I just finished up this week's medical checkup.
Hey, Helen, was everything okay with you?
Yeah, everything is fine. Our baby is growing healthily in my stomach without any problems so far.
Well, I'm glad everything is okay.
But since my back hurts so much, I'm thinking of taking maternity chiropractic treatment.
What? Maternity chiropractic? Are you sure that treatment isn't going to have any effect on the baby inside?
Yeah, it seems that there's no problem getting treatment under my current condition.
Oh, really? Then I guess that's okay. Well then, I do hope that treatment will help reduce your back pain as much as possible.
Yeah, I desperately need this treatment, so I hope it does too. It's so painful that I'm having a hard time sleeping, so I just went ahead and booked it immediately. So I'm going there tomorrow, as soon as possible.
By the way, are you going to be able to get through over the New Year's holidays safely? There's no possibility that you'll go into labor earlier than expected, right?
Yeah, if there aren't any problems, I should be fine.
Well then, my family can gather up at our house on New Year's holidays, right?
What? Gather up on New Year's? Are you referring to our house?
Yes, of course. What other option do we have? Since my parents' house is undergoing repair right now, there's no other place that we can gather up besides our house, right?
But weren't we supposed to gather at your little brother's house this time? I think that would be much better considering my condition now.
Don't you realize how much trouble you continue to cause to Ken and his family? They've already been supporting our family enough. You know that Ken's family has accepted my parents to stay at their house until the repair is finished.
I know, but I'm going through the last months of pregnancy now.
Well, actually, my parents were supposed to stay at our house, you know. But because you were pregnant, they thought you needed to have some time to relax, so they decided to go over to my little brother's house. Taking that into consideration, don't you even think of trying to help out my family at all? You know they've been supporting you frequently.
I understand that's true, and I really appreciate what they've done for me. But when it comes to New Year's gatherings, it means that the other family relatives will visit too, right?
Yeah, of course, they'll join us too. And remember, my brother lives in an apartment. That small apartment can only fit my brother's family and my parents, so it's impossible for all of our relatives to gather up. On the other hand, as we live in a house, can't we even help them out and just offer a place to gather? Since it's going to be a party, I'm also worried that my brother's family might get complaints from their neighbors if it's held at the apartment. Since we don't have to worry about that, I suppose we should be the ones to offer them a place to gather, which is the least we can do in this situation.
Well, I suppose we can offer them a place to gather. But even if they do come visit, honestly, I don't think I'll be able to help them out at all with this body. There's not much that I can do, and I'll practically be useless even though it's being held at our house. So we'll probably need your family's support anyway, and I just don't think it's a good idea. Because I definitely cannot provide hospitality at our house under this condition.
Nobody in my family is actually expecting any help from you, so you don't need to worry about that at all. Even now, you're not being much of a help anyway, always complaining that your back and stomach hurt and that you can't move.
Oh, I can't believe it. So that's how you've been thinking about me all this time? Well, even so, don't you understand that I'm trying my best under this condition?
Oh, really? Can you explain what you're actually trying to do now? Because that's a bit of a surprise. All you do is just lie down sleeping like a couch potato all day at home. I thought you were being lazy making excuses because you're pregnant.
I'm not just sleeping and laying down, you know. With this body of mine, I constantly get out of breath by just moving a little. And since it's so hard for me to stand, I do have to sit quite a lot to take a rest. But remember, I am pregnant with our baby, you know. It's not like I'm just being lazy all the time. But I guess you're never going to understand what I'm going through now and know how hard it is to move my body carrying this baby in my stomach.
Well, it seems like you're just being lazy looking from my point of view. And even so, you should definitely control your eating habits. You have such a big appetite, eating so much. You're just like a pig.
That is so horrible. You don't have to say things like that.
Honestly, I really do think you're eating too much, you know? You're getting fatter and have gained more weight than any of the pregnant women I've seen before. Isn't that the reason why your back has gotten hurt with your heavy weight?
But my doctor is saying that my weight is at average, though.
Even so, isn't your weight probably at the borderline of overweight? I think this will be a good diet for you, so can you at least do a big cleanup of the house? And at New Year's, you can do anything you want, as long as you don't get in our way.
Are you saying that I have to do this big cleanup all alone by myself in this condition?
What, were you trying to have me help you do it?
Since I'm going through the last months of pregnancy, I was thinking of reducing the procedures of this year's cleanup than usual. Or was thinking that maybe I could possibly do it together with you.
I don't want you to be so dependent on me, because you know that I'm already working hard every day. But Helen, you basically haven't been working at all since you quit your job once you found out you were pregnant. You knew the baby's expectancy date way before this, so isn't it your fault that you haven't done anything? I would assume everyone would plan these things more in advance before their stomach got big.
Well, I did try to think ahead and do things in advance as much as I could. But during the early stages of my pregnancy, you know that I did have severe morning sickness. And I had to go through a tough time trying to adapt my body to this pregnancy than I had expected.
Well, I don't think you can make any excuses about that, because I know you definitely had enough time after that morning sickness calmed down up until now. And you still have about a month until New Year's, so I'm sure you have enough time. So can't you just start cleaning up now?
All right, I got it. But I want you to understand that it's really tough for me to pick up heavy things. So I need you to help me move things when cleaning up the house.
Yeah, I can at least do that. But please try to finish up what you can do on your own. Okay then, I'll go ahead and tell my parents and other relatives that we're gonna gather at our house this time. So you'd better start cleaning up the house from today. Helen, I'm gonna be late today too, so go ahead and have dinner without me.
What? Weren't you going to come home early tonight?
Well, I suddenly got invited to go out for some drinks.
But I assume there should be no more year-end parties left, right?
No, but people still ask me individually to go out for a drink towards the year-end season. Even our clients still continue to invite me for drinks. So if I don't go, they'll think that I'm not socializing enough, and that may affect our relationships. I guess you won't understand, but these socializing events are an important factor of building my business relationships.
I get what you're saying, but when are you actually going to help me out with the big cleanup of our house? You know that I've been asking you so many times and been waiting for quite a while. There are so many places that I can't clean up without your help, Sean. And we don't have much time left until New Year's, so I seriously need you to make some time to help out with this cleaning.
Okay, I'll try to help you out on the days when I'm off work.
Actually, you said the exact same thing before, but you just kept sleeping all afternoon and basically did nothing. Since I can't pick up heavy things, the whole cleanup is completely slowing down, so I definitely need your help. Otherwise, I won't be able to clean up the whole house in time for the New Year's gatherings.
All right, I'll promise to take care of it by the end of this year. By the way, have you prepared the appetizers and the New Year's dishes for all the family members joining us? Also, if there aren't enough cushions, I need you to go out and buy them.
Excuse me? Didn't you say that we just needed to offer them a place to gather together? This is definitely going beyond what I agreed to do.
But don't you understand that things will be much easier for my family if we just go ahead and prepare for them? Actually, the wife of the family usually should notice these things and prepare all of this on her end. We're letting you just sit there and relax during the New Year's gathering, so don't you think this is the least you can do to help out by preparing things in advance?
Ugh, I can't take this any longer. I just can't.
Huh?
Because recently I've been working so hard moving around doing all this cleanup and my stomach is bloating and my back hurts. I definitely can't welcome your relatives under this condition.
So what are you saying? Everyone's expecting to gather at our house, you know. We can't just cancel all of this at this point. Helen, you're the one who agreed to offer the place to gather in, right?
But I did ask you before if you can gather up at another place rather than our house, right? And then you suddenly got angry and started shouting at me, remember? I didn't even have a chance to discuss this with you, and you just went ahead and decided this on your end. You didn't even try listening to what I had to say, didn't you?
All right. So if I discuss this with you again and you agree to this, then it's okay to gather at our house, right?
No, I'm not saying that I'm agreeing to this. I'm saying that I don't want your family to gather at our house. At first, it was supposed to be just cleaning up the house. But now there are so many things you're asking me to do. And even though you're saying that I don't actually have to do anything when they come, you know that's not what you or your family is expecting from me. You've always treated me that way, complaining after things have passed that I wasn't supportive enough and didn't help out at all at family gatherings.
Of course, because wives should be the ones who notice and try to help out more than any family member, right?
But you see, I am pregnant now. I want you to understand my situation and take this seriously.
I know, so that's why I've been saying that you don't need to do anything this time.
You said that I don't need to do anything? Even though I've been asked to do the whole cleanup of the house in preparation of the gathering? That's gone way past what I agreed to do in the first place, and it's a lot of hard work for a pregnant woman to do alone without any help.
Remember, you did promise to help me prepare for the New Year's family gathering, and I assume that shouldn't be so difficult to do.
Even doing small household chores is a big deal for me in this condition, you know. Though I've been saying this continuously, you're still not taking this seriously at all.
Oh, there you go again. You're so annoying, always talking like that. Being pregnant is not like you're sick or anything, so don't make a fuss about it. And I'm saying I don't want to hear your complaints anymore. Just do exactly what I say.
Have you been listening to what I've been saying? I am telling you that it's really impossible for me to do this cleanup all alone.
Fine, I got it. I'm gonna discuss this again with you thoroughly when I get home tonight.
Really? Because I don't want you to just shout at me one-sidedly like you did before, so don't do that.
But I definitely will convince you to agree to this. There is no way I'm gonna change my mind about our decision today. So you should be prepared. Hey, Helen, what's going on?
What do you mean?
This house is such a mess. How can you leave the house looking like this? You're supposed to do a whole cleanup, but you're actually making the house dirty.
Oh, that's because you're making your wife, who's going through pregnancy, do this big cleanup alone. Understand how hard it is for a pregnant woman to clean up the whole house all by herself? So if you're continuing to make complaints about this again, why don't you try cleaning the house yourself?
Huh? How can you talk to me like that? Stupid wife, where are you now?
Huh? Did you just say stupid wife?
Yeah, you're just a stupid wife who doesn't listen to your husband at all, right? You're just so useless, like a big fat pig. You need to come home and do the chores immediately if you don't want to be beaten up. We only have a few days before New Year's Day and don't have much time to finish up the cleaning. Or do you want to go through a divorce?
Hey, stupid son, that's enough. I'm cutting off my relationship with you.
Huh? Stupid son? What are you saying? I don't remember being your son.
Sean, it's your mother you're actually talking to now. How can you talk to me like that? Have you forgotten that I'm the one who took care of you?
What? It's you, Mom?
Yeah, it is. So you need to start explaining. What's this all about? I thought we were expecting to gather up at your house on New Year's Day. But that was because Helen was supposed to stay at her parents' house at New Year's, right? That's what we agreed to because we wanted Helen to have some time to relax before giving birth. So you need to give me a good explanation to why Helen, who is going through her last months of pregnancy, is doing all the preparation for this by herself.
Mom, is this really you?
Yes, I'm saying that it's me. For your information, you should know that Helen just collapsed at home from working too hard since you made her clean up the house. And she is now staying at the hospital. It was probably such a burden for her and the baby to clean up and do the preparation all by herself. Do you understand how tough that was for her? And why didn't you try to help her out with the cleanup?
Really? Helen collapsed? Well, what happened to her?
I can't believe you can do such a thing to her. You forced your pregnant wife to work too hard to go through a big cleanup even though she's expecting to give birth soon? And you also did have a fight with Helen a few days ago, right? I heard that you did some terrible things like kicking down the furniture in front of her. Seriously, are you out of your mind? You basically weren't caring about your wife or the baby inside her.
No, that's not true. Mom, listen, it's because Helen constantly complains saying it's impossible to do the things I ask her to do. I couldn't put up with it, so I just got angry and carried away. Because all Helen does is just sits and lays down every day at home and basically does nothing. And she's gotten so fat now due to that, so I just wanted to try to be a little strict on her for her sake.
What you mean by being strict is shouting at her and kicking down things? You're just forcing her to do things by threatening her. That is so insane. Think about all the physical hard work and mental distress she had to deal with until she finally collapsed. Can't believe you can do such a horrible thing to your pregnant wife.
Well, you see, Helen just doesn't simply understand things by just saying so. So I had to be a little harsh on her.
Well, that's because what you're saying is wrong, right? Didn't you even notice that? You are definitely going out of your mind making your wife, who's gone through the last months of pregnancy, do all the preparation of the New Year's gathering.
I know, but she was just being so lazy. Always complaining, saying that she can't do anything. That's so absurd.
I don't see why you're complaining. Because you're definitely the one who's insane. What actually do you know about pregnancy? First of all, pregnant wives have the right to lay down and relax at home because she's carrying a 3-kilogram-sized baby inside of her, which constantly makes her stomach feel pressed, causing pain in her back. She can't even move her body freely like before in that kind of condition. Do you understand how difficult it is for women to spend the last months of pregnancy with that body?
But I've seen so many pregnant women who continue to work even if their stomach gets bigger. So compared to them, I think Helen has become too lazy.
You should know that it's just worthless trying to compare pregnant women. Each of those women and Helen's situation may be completely different. There are pregnant women who have no problem moving around and others who just can't, depending on their condition. And pregnant women at your work may be trying to pretend to look as though they're okay, even if they're not. So don't think that you understand what they're going through by just looking at how they appear. Because each case is different and women are bearing with so many things during pregnancy that you can't possibly imagine it all. And you didn't even take the situation seriously enough to try to reduce Helen's burden at all.
No, I actually was going to help her out with the cleanup and preparation just today. All I wished for was to offer a place for our family to gather, because I know our family always looks forward to getting together every New Year's, and I know how important this is to us. Mom, I knew that you were even worried that the family may not be able to gather this year because your house repair was being delayed. So I just thought that everyone in our family will be happy if they would be able to gather at our house for New Year's.
Well, if so, you should have done all the cleanup and preparation for this on your own. Why did you have to make Helen do this all by herself? And I assume you knew that Helen was refusing to do this considering her health condition in the first place? But you just went ahead and decided everything without listening to what she was trying to say, and basically did nothing to help her out and not notice what Helen was going through and even her health condition.
Hey, I'm sorry,
No, I am absolutely not the one you should apologize to. In this situation, you definitely have to think about your wife, Helen, first, no matter what, so you need to apologize to her. Taking this all into consideration, you can now just forget about going through the preparation for the New Year's gathering this year, because we won't gather up at your house. We shouldn't go all the way to do this if we're going to make this your wife's burden affecting her pregnancy. And Sean, after knowing about all of this now, remember that I honestly don't ever want to see your face again.
Hi, Helen. How have you been lately? I assume the baby's expectancy date has passed? Is the baby born now? Where actually are you now? I want to apologize to you. I'm so worried about you and the baby, so please reply to me, Helen.
Hi, Sean. Been a while.
Helen, you finally answered. Did you finally give birth to our baby?
Yes, I did. And it's a girl.
Oh, really? That's wonderful. You've done great. So which hospital are you staying at? I'll head there as soon as possible.
Don't you remember it all? I did actually tell you where the hospital was many times before, but I guess you didn't try to remember or listen to what I was saying at all.
No. You see, since that was before the baby was born, you know there are so many hospitals that I got confused and couldn't remember the name of it. Anyway, I really want to meet my daughter as soon as possible, so can you please tell me which hospital you're staying at again?
No, I'm sorry, but I'm not telling you where I am. Because you are absolutely not welcome after all that's happened between us.
What do you mean not welcome? You shouldn't be talking to me like that, because I'm the baby's father, you know, and I have a right to meet my daughter too.
Hey, Sean, can we meet and talk about this once again after I actually get out of this hospital?
All right, but I just want to confirm that we can definitely meet each other after you get out of there, right?
Yeah, but before that, I do need your signature for some paperwork I have prepared.
Huh? My signature? What do you need that for?
Because I want to divorce you, and it's for the paperwork.
What? A divorce?
Although I did try to consider our marriage once again for the sake of our newborn daughter, it was just impossible for me to continue this relationship after all. And after I got pregnant and quit my job, you've definitely been too hard on me, right? It was really tough for me to bear with your attitude. You've been insulting me about my body figure and never tried to even care about me while I was pregnant. And as we discussed about what to do for the New Year's gathering, you practically forced me to accept them to come to our house and made me clean up and prepare it all for them by myself. When I refused to do so, you kicked down our furniture and shouted at me, right? Do you know how scared I was going through that during my pregnancy? You know I can't continue this marriage with you being so violent like that.
Hey, I'm so sorry. I really apologize for that. I just wanted my family to have a place to gather since the New Year's event is important to them.
Sean, you need to be honest to me, because I know that's not true. I assume you just didn't want to lose against your brother Ken, right?
No, that's not true.
Sean, I know you were always making fun of your brother, weren't you? Saying that since he doesn't earn enough money, he has to continue to rent a house? And also saying that your brother's family can't have a child because they're financially poor. But after Ken started becoming successful, I noticed that you haven't said much about him. So I knew that you were definitely jealous of your brother and couldn't accept anything he does. But I tried to be quiet about that, knowing that you might get angry if I mentioned that to you.
I'm saying that it's not true at all.
You just couldn't accept the fact that your parents had to stay at your brother's house while their house was being fixed. Because though they were originally supposed to stay at our house, they couldn't do so because of my pregnancy. That's why you said that you wanted to hold the gathering at our house, right? No, I'm saying this because it is true, so you should admit it. I know because I can tell since I've been with you all this time. Though I don't really understand why you think that way about your brother. Is this some kind of pride between the two of you? Because believe me, as your wife, I did really want to try to support you. But I just couldn't do so after the tough times I had to go through. You need to know that there are just some things that a pregnant woman can't do.
I'm so sorry. I was definitely wrong about that. You can absolutely blame everything on me. I truly apologize.
Well, I wish you could have realized much earlier because unfortunately it's too late. I can't continue to live with a person who shouts at me and kicks down things. After going through the birth of our daughter, this feeling towards you has become stronger. I definitely cannot take care of my daughter under the risk of living with such a violent father.
I promise I won't do such a thing to my daughter. You need to believe me.
Oh, you never know that. Anyway, it's just my problem, and I just can't stand this relationship in the first place. I just can't bear being scolded and shouted at and being thrown things at me. And you know that it was really close enough to have hit my stomach the other day. Do you understand what that could have done to our daughter?
I apologize for that, but do understand that I didn't mean to...
It doesn't matter if or if not you meant to do so. It doesn't change the fact of your violent behavior. As I was reluctantly doing the cleanup, I guess it became too much for me to handle and I felt sick and got hospitalized, which made me realize how stupid I was to work so hard for such a ridiculous matter. And through that incident, it's like you put my baby daughter in danger indirectly.
I'm so sorry. I admit that it was just my stupid pride that caused me to behave like that. I was just anxious that since I'm the eldest son, I had to be responsible for supporting my parents more than my little brother. I didn't want my parents to think I was just a useless son.
I assume you tend to think that way because of your attitude, always looking down on people, thinking others are stupid. I've always noticed that and was pretty concerned about it. But your mother and kin don't think like that at all. So I don't understand why you're the only one in your family who persists to that meaningless pride of yours. Anyway, I absolutely can't continue this relationship with you any longer, Sean. So I'll get in touch with you later to get into the details after I leave this hospital, okay? But remember, my feelings towards you will probably never change.
Helen, wait! Please don't do this to me. I really don't want to divorce you, Helen. You may not believe me after all of this, but you are really important to me, and I do care about you so much. I want to see my daughter and be able to take care of her with you as her father.
Excuse me? But you're saying that you care about me now, even though you never supported me through my pregnancy? I've gone through this so many times, and it's always the same. You're just all talk and no action. I don't think you can take care of my daughter in that way. I can imagine that you're going to act up again like you've been doing now if I get my hands full with parenting and don't do the household chores, right?
No, I won't do that. Believe me, I promise I will definitely help out and support you with chores and also parenting.
I assume people who are truly willing to do so would have already done anything to help way before. But up till now, unfortunately, you've done practically nothing to help. So there's no way I can believe what you say now. And you're probably going to act up soon anyway, repeating this again and again. I just know that you're not going to change. And if that happens, not only me, but my daughter might get hurt as well. Definitely have to protect my daughter from this. So I'm going to have to divorce you.
Hey, I know I was so stupid. I'm really sorry. I guess I was dependent on you too much since you were so kind to accept anything I say.
Don't think that I will receive that as an apology. I can't easily forget all the terrible things you've done to me during the pregnancy. I can't stand living a life with you always complaining to me. And I don't need a husband or a father that is just all talk and not responsible for his actions. I definitely can't trust a stupid guy like you to be my daughter's father. After I left the hospital, I discussed the divorce with my husband along with a lawyer and my parents-in-law. Although my husband was crying that he really wanted to avoid the divorce between us, unfortunately I just had no feelings towards him anymore. And even considering about parenting my daughter, I still couldn't choose to continue this marriage with him. So there was no way I was going to change my mind about this and kept insisting on this divorce. After that, though my husband continued to refuse, we were able to go through a divorce after my parents-in-law finally convinced him to do so. I really do appreciate my parents-in-law for their proper judgment, even though I assume this should have been shocking to them as well. And though I honestly didn't want my husband to meet my daughter, I understand that he is her father after all, and was willing to respect his right to meet her once in a while. So I agreed to let my husband meet my daughter once a month and support her by living separately. However, after the divorce, I guess my husband just lost hope from what he had lost and continued to live a dull life just going from home to work every day. Not only was the divorce so shocking to him, but I assume the people around him finally began to notice the true self of him and gradually turned away from him. And as his parents cut off their relationship with him, he just simply started to give up on everything. I guess he's living a pretty lonely life trying to handle things on his own. Though he was a miserable husband, under that situation it seems that he's always really looking forward to meeting my daughter, and has been sending me my daughter's child support expenses each month on a regular basis. I do appreciate how responsible he's trying to be as my daughter's father. I really do hope he would continue to stay that way, regretting what he's done in the past without getting any greedier. Though he was such a miserable husband to me, if he can be a good father to my daughter, that's actually all that I wished for. And now, as I'm living at my parents' house, I'm taking care of my baby daughter with the full support from my parents. Since I gave birth to my baby, it's been a really tough time for me going through so many emotions as I'm still an immature mother getting worried and afraid or being ashamed of myself as I continue to face difficulties of motherhood. However, no matter how hard it is, I do forget how tired I am whenever I look at my daughter's cute face and gestures. I just enjoy finding so many new happinesses and discoveries from my sweet little baby every day. And even after the divorce with my husband, my parents-in-law still continue to support me so much as my daughter's grandparents. So I'm thankful every day to be supported by my family and all the people around me. I definitely couldn't have gone through the first stages of parenting without the support from each of them. So their support has been contributing to my parenthood as well. Though I assume there will be more tough times waiting ahead in the future that I must face as a single parent. No matter what happens, I definitely want to take good care of my daughter, as this is my life that I did decide to live after going through all of this. From now on, I want to have a heartwarming family by living a life every day full of happiness and smiles with my precious daughter. Thank you for watching Peep Talk videos. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Also, feel free to leave any comments. Please visit us again to check out the next video.